Hello, everybody. I am Nathaniel Perez, a Texas A&M Corpus Christi kinesiology student, and my internship was with Armadillo Sport Chiropractic here in Corpus Christi. Internship site location is Armadillo Sport Chiropractic. Armadillo Sport Chiropractic has two offices, one located here in Corpus Christi and the other out in Calallen. The owner at the Corpus Christi office is Dr. Chad Peters, and the two doctors working alongside him are Dr. Richard Salazar and Dr. Corina Agosto. At the Calallen office, the owner is Dr. Nick Baucom, and the doctor working alongside him is Dr. Ian Soderquist. So this is what the typical patient exam room looks like. There is a chair there for if the patient has company. There's also the chiropractic adjustment table that has drop tables within it, which are just another technique of performing an adjustment. There is a table or a stand that has the electrical stem machine, also biofreeze and cleaning tools and other, soft tissue tools as well. There's often a skeleton model or posters on the wall that display anatomy, and that's what a typical room looks like. My internship objectives. So my first objective going into this internship was to learn what it's like to own a chiropractic clinic, what it's like to own a business. So a lot of the time I spent in the office was talking with Dr. Peters and asking him what he's done to own this business as smooth as it goes, and the sacrifices he's had to make and making sure that this business is kept running smoothly. And he's told me all the stuff that he's had to do, the programs he's had to buy, working with insurance companies, marketing. He even has like a 30-hour business plan that he kind of lectures to some upcoming chiropractors. So he knows what it's like to own a business, and starting one. So I really try to learn as much as I can from him on that. The next objective was I wanted to see exactly how these doctors go in and execute a patient exam. There's a lot that goes into taking a patient exam. It's more than just asking what hurts or how can I help you. It's the approach you have, how you sell your chiropractic treatment. You're essentially selling them a treatment, making sure that if they have another issue going on in their lives or someone else, they can refer to someone else or come back. So a lot of it is more than just the treatment. Another thing that I wanted to do within this internship was learn how to apply my textbook knowledge that I have obtained here at A&M Corpus. I wanted to impress some of the doctors with the anatomy and physiology that I know. And it did help a lot. So like if a doctor came into me and said, "Hey Nate, I got a patient in room 2, go in there and strip out the pec, get that pec minor, go into the lower traps, upper traps, through the rhomboids." I knew exactly where it was and I knew exactly how to approach it. So I'm glad I got that opportunity to demonstrate some of my knowledge. And the last objective that I wanted to obtain there was to increase my communication skills, just my talking ability, my speaking ability. And I did greatly. A lot of the chiropractic treatment is talking with the patient and explaining things to them in a level at a level they can understand and actually obtain information from. And so in interpersonal skills as well, as talking with coworkers, talking to doctors in a way that's professional and it's not just a casual conversation. So those were some of the objectives that I went into the internship having. My best experience. So my best experience while interning this summer at Armadillo Sport Chiropractic has to be a learning experience. It was when I first located a subluxated facet rib joint. So a subluxated joint means there's just maybe a slight misalignment, could be the source of pain, could be some type of minuscule dislocation of a joint. It's nothing extraordinary. But it's just something that's out of the ordinary that you could palpate physically. So a patient came in with a hot rib. That's what we classify it as. It's whenever that rib joint is just slightly out of place, and it can be very painful as the lungs sit right under those joints. So with big inhalation, they feel that pressure, and it feels like someone's stabbing them right in the back. So it could be a very painful, issue. So a patient came in with that, and he was laying supine right on the table, or pronated on the table, and we had him with his shirt off, and Dr. Peters was like, hey, go ahead and try to palpate. Go try to find where you believe this rib is subluxated at. I was like, okay. So I went in there, I felt along the thoracic vertebrae down towards the mid-thoracic or upper lumbar, and I felt something odd. There's usually an end feel to these joints, to where with given pressure, it's slightly, there's not resistance. You could feel the joint kind of give in with you, and there may be slight resistance back, but it's not incredibly, hard. So I felt one spot when I was like, okay, this could be it. And so I palpated laterally to where that rib joint would sit right there at that transverse process. And I felt it. I knew exactly where it was, because on the other side, it did not feel like that. But on this side, it felt like that. And mostly that is due to the muscle spasm that's happening around that joint capsule. And as soon as I put pressure on that area, the individual let out a big, like, oh, that's it right there. Oh, you're right on it. And so I looked at Dr. Peters like, oh man, I found it. Like, what? He's like, yep. He's like, you're gonna be way ahead of chiropractic school, way ahead. So that was one of the best experiences that I've had over there at the internship. My most challenging experience had to be working with a patient alone for the first time. Dr. Peters, for the most part, kind of threw me into the fire. He didn't really prepare me too much, but he did give me a rundown very quickly, and it was like a kind of one and done type of thing. As soon as he said it, boom, you better have got it. So the first time being alone with a patient was the most challenging experience. Making sure that I sounded knowledgeable and that I was not nervous or panicking on what to do and stuff. But the treatment protocols that I was doing were not difficult at all. It was just therapeutic modalities such as cryotherapy and thermotherapy and electrical stem. So it wasn't too challenging, but it was a new experience for me, to where I was pretty nervous a little bit. What I would do differently given the opportunity to redo my internship or restart it. So the first thing I would do differently would be to take on more challenges. While interning there at Armadillo Sport Chiropractic, they had me doing all of the pre-treatment adjustment stuff. So like I would do all the modalities. I would do hip flexor stretches, as you can see in this photo. I would do Graston or instrument assisted soft tissue mobilization. I would do muscle releases, and it wasn't anything that I could not handle, and it wasn't something that I had to actually like take notes on or learn about. But the way that I would take on more challenges would be to tell one of the doctors, like, hey, let me go in with this patient first, see what I could figure out, see what's going on, talk with them, and then I'll let you know what I think is going on before you go in, and see how close I am to diagnosing this patient. Stuff like that I would probably just challenge myself with. Another thing that I would do differently would be to ask more questions. I had many opportunities and many conversations with some of the doctors about some stuff that I was really interested in, more so like the science behind all the chiropractic and a lot of the anatomy. And I did ask a lot of questions, but one thing I would do for sure differently would be to ask even more, possibly annoy the doctors to death about asking them so many questions. Another thing that I would do differently would be to practice identifying my landmarks. So identifying landmarks is just finding locations of bones and muscles on the body. Everybody has the same locations, but they're slightly different due to the different bodies we have. So I would really would have liked to practice, palpating, finding these landmarks, because all the doctors tell me that the first actual hands-on learning that I'm going to be doing at chiropractic school is landmarks, that I will become a professional master at identifying landmarks. And that's a lot of what the treatment protocols go into. First, you have to locate this and then find this. It's a lot of just landmark identification. So that is what I would have done differently for sure. Now for the most professional lesson while interning at Armadillo Sports Chiropractic. It would have to be understanding the reality behind being a chiropractor. For the most part, whenever you get a patient, and I see it in every doctor's face, they want to blow these people's minds with the type of treatment they're about to do. They will do from modalities to muscle work to the adjustments to whatever else they would like to get done. But they also want to really help these people make adjustments to their lives so that way they do not have to keep coming to the chiropractor. As a chiropractor, if your patients have to see you weekly, 3 times a week for 16 weeks, what are you doing? All right. It's like, what kind of treatment do you provide? Are you even actually helping these people? So the most professional lesson would be that sometimes people do not really want to help themselves. They just really want to get their back or neck popped. Some patients will come in like, doc, I've had this pain for months and I just want to get better. I just want to be living my life as I used to. I want to go fishing, or I want to do something that I haven't been able to do for so long, you know? And Dr. Pierce will tell them, hey, okay, so this is what we got to do. We got to stop doing these exercises, do these exercises, stop using heat, use ice, and minimize the amount of activity you spend sitting down or doing something else that you shouldn't be doing. And they'll be like, okay, just make sure you pop my neck. And he'll look at me like he didn't understand anything I just told him. He doesn't care. And it's kind of sad to see, for the most part, that these people are not willing to do the homework, you know? Dr. Peters likes to say, it's not the 20 to 30 minutes you spend here with me. It's the 16 hours you spend awake doing whatever else you do throughout the day. You know, you got to help yourself more so. That's why a lot of people look at chiropractic treatment, especially if you're a PT, you look at it as a quick fix. You know, it's like you're not really helping people, but you're providing them information, you're giving them the education that they need to hear. You sometimes provide the exercise and the stretches and the stuff that they should be doing at home. But the real question is, are they doing it? You know, you can only help them as much as they're willing to help themselves. And so that was probably my most professional lesson, is that when you go into this, he told me, when you go into this, you're going to want to help everybody. You're going to want to, you know, spend an hour plus with each patient and talking their mind off about everything, you know, about how they can get better. For the most part, they're not going to want to hear it. They're just not going to do it. So just having that, you know, eye-opening conversation with some of the doctors about what it's really like being a chiropractor was probably what I most took away from this internship, and that I'll go into chiropractic school, just keeping in the back of my mind. But that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a good day.